Hi guys, welcome back to another valuable video, and today in this video I'm going to be running through the single trade approach, which is using a max running loss of 1,000 and a daily profit target of 1,000, which basically acts as your stop loss and your take profit. Okay, so the trade will either hit your max running loss of 1k, which is your stop loss, or your daily profit target of 1k as an example, which is your take profit. And if it hits that take profit, it will not start trading again until the following day. Okay, so 24 hours later. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can run the single trade approach. You can use an ATR based stop loss and take profit, which we have optimization files provided inside the POW web app to use that approach, or we can run it this way. Both approaches work. Both approaches work really well. However, they take a lot of patience and a lot of persistence to find consistency, because where I think a lot of people go wrong is you might hit a losing run with this strategy. Okay, you might hit that early on. You might hit that in your first week. And what a lot of people do wrong is they end up scrapping the whole approach altogether as soon as they hit a few stop losses or as soon as they have a losing week, and they don't actually let the data play out. They don't stick to the process. They scrap it and they change the optimization file and they try something new, and then they hit a losing run on that and then scrap it again and then try something new, and they end up going around in circles and never really getting anywhere, when really you just need to let things play out. And if you can let it play out and you can be consistent with your approach, then after a month or 6 weeks, however long you decide to let it run for, that's when you'll have enough data to actually, look back and say, okay, well, this is working really well for me. This isn't working well. What do I need to tweak it and improve my results? Okay, so it took me a very long time to realize that. And I fell into the same trap in the early stages. I was not seeing good results. I was changing things all the time. Every week I was trying a new optimization file and I didn't really have a process. Whereas now I've just stuck to the process week in, week out. Haven't changed my optimization file since the start of the year, so January the 1st. And I've really started to see some good consistency. And don't get me wrong, there's been challenges along the way. I've hit a few stop losses in a row. That is to be accepted. There's always going to be a losing run or a period of drawdown in any trading strategy. It's about how you factor that in to your approach that ensures whether you're going to be successful or not. Okay, so the way I like to do this with the single trade approach is by splitting the optimization files into custom trading sessions. So let's say I'm trading indices. I'll have 4 optimization files, one for London, one for Sydney, one for New York, one for Tokyo, all split into individual trading sessions. Okay, and I just found that gives me better results and it's easier to find more consistency with that. You don't have to do it this way. I'm just giving you a little bit of guidance on how to set up an optimization file trading with the trend. Now, EMA's set to true. My EMA time frame is going to optimize between M5 and H4. As you get more experience with this, you can condense that down. You can decide, okay, maybe I only want to trade higher time frames, or maybe I only want to trade lower time frames. Whatever it might be, that's up for you to decide and explore. Okay, EMA periods, we're testing all the EMA periods of the Banker EA. Now, what I've found is if we're using lower time frame EMAs, then ideally we want to be using faster EMAs. So 4, 8, 60, 8, 13, 21. If we're using higher time frame EMAs, anywhere from M30 up to H4 and above, then ideally we want to be using medium to slow EMA periods. Okay, so 9, 21, 55 up to 10, 50, 200. Okay, that's just something that I've found from using ChatGPT. Now, EMA trend rule is obviously trading with a trend because we're creating a trend trading strategy. We can add an RSI to this as an extra bit of confluence. You don't have to, but you can. I've got optimization files that are using RSI. Again, that's up for you to explore. If we had this set to true, it means we're going to be using the RSI. It's up for you to decide which RSI timeframe you want to use. Ideally, you want it in confluence with the EMA. So if you're using lower time frame EMAs, then we want to use a lower time frame RSI. You know, if we're using higher time frame EMAs, then ideally we might want to use a higher time frame RSI. You don't have to do it that way. It's just something that I found worked. A common RSI period is RSI 14. Okay, you can go lower than that. It's going to be a little bit more volatile. However, I think a good RSI period where you're going to find consistent results is RSI 14. And that sell level wants to be set to anywhere from 60 and above. If we're using RSI as just an added confluence to ensuring that we're trading with momentum of the trend, then 60 would be fine. If we're looking for, points of oversold and overbought conditions and maybe looking for reversals, then we'll take that RSI higher to maybe 70, 80, 90. But if we're trading with the trend, I tend to try and keep that quite low. But I'm just going to untick that for the sake of this video. I was just giving you a little bit of information there. Using ADX again as an added bit of confluence to ensure that we're trading in a strong trend. Okay, so test a wide variety of ADX timeframes, M5 to H4. Again, as you get more experience with this, you can condense it down. Maybe you only want to test lower time frame ADX. Maybe you just want to test higher time frame ADX. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to open the optimization up a little bit. My ADX period, 7 to 28. I've just found that this gives consistent results, again, by using ChatGPT. I found out this information. So this is testing 7, 14, 21, and 28. Okay, all are very good ADX periods. Okay, it's up to you to decide which ones you want to go towards. Maybe you just want to select one. If you just wanted to select one, you just write that here. So I might go 7. That's only going to test ADX period 7. For the sake of this video, I want to do an optimization, and I'm going to let the optimization decide what's best for me. The ADX threshold, if we're trading with a trend, ideally we want this to be 25 and above, maybe even 20 and above. Okay, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to say 25 up to 40. We can go 20 to 40. We can go 25 to 45. But basically what this is doing is just ensuring that we're going to be trading in a strong trend. Anything lower than, I would say, 20, we'd probably be going more towards a ranging market. Anything higher than, let's say, 45, maybe we're looking at a threshold of 50. Then we're looking at maybe a reversal point or a counter trend trading strategy. Okay, but again, we're creating a trend trading strategy, so we want anything from 25 maybe to 40 or 45, okay, with a step of 5 in between. If we scroll down, I'm not using Bollinger Bands for the sake of this video. You can add it in, okay? There's no harm in adding it in and exploring something. If we add in a Bollinger Band, I might say I only want to, I want to avoid extreme trends. Decide on what time frame you want to optimize. Maybe you want to go M1 to M15. That gives good results too. Bollinger Band periods, again, up for you to decide. Maybe test a wide variety, 10 to 120 with a step of 10. You could use ChatGPT to give you some values that you want to, get a little bit more information on. If you're not sure what Bollinger Band periods do, ask ChatGPT and it will give you that information, because that's what I do. Yeah, that's how I found out all this information, to be honest. But there we go. If we're adding deviations for Bollinger Bands, 0.5 up to 3 with a step of 0.25 was something that I was testing before. There's no harm in just doing 1.5 up to 3 with a step of 0.5. That would give you good results too. Again, there's no harm in using ChatGPT to find out a little bit more information on that. Again, for the sake of the video, I'm just going to have it ticked off. Now, I like to use a delay trade. I feel like this gives me a better entry. So I'm testing up to 10. You can take that higher if you like. You can take it lower. You might not want to include it at all. But I just like to test 0 to 10. And then I let the optimization decide what's best. We don't use a delay in this trading strategy, so no live delay. And if we're testing indices, the pip step that I like to test is 10, step of 10 up to 50. If this is gold or forex pairs, we'd go 1, 1, 5. Okay, now I am using IC markets to do this. Okay, so your broker that you're using, if you're using a different broker, you just need to check the pip values to ensure that this is in alignment. Okay, if we're using IC markets, indices would be 10, 10, and 50. Okay. Pip step exponent, I usually keep that to 1. Trading direction long and short. Reverse sequence direction, I like to customize, optimize this true and false. Okay, so if reverse sequence direction is set to true, it means that we're essentially looking for a pullback, and then we're going to enter, and then we're looking to catch the momentum of the trend. Okay, if it's set to false, then we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be doing the opposite. Okay, so I like to, once again, let the optimization decide what's best, because that's just something that I found good consistency in doing. With my lot sizes, now you can play about with this. The lot size determines on how far away your stop loss is going to be, basically, because we're not optimizing the stop loss in this. We're optimizing the lot size that will determine that. Now, I've used a big range here, 5, 50 with a step of 5. Okay. Now, you might want to go 10, 30 with a step of 5, or you could go even lower to a step of 2. You might just want to go 10, 20 with a step of 1, or with a step of 0.5. Play about with it, see what works for you. You know, you might decide that 10, 20 with a step of 0.5 gives you good results, so just stick to that week in, week out. Keep repeating the same process and see what happens over a period of time. Don't test this for 1 week and then change it the next week and try something else and then change it the next week, because then you're not going to have any data to work off of, because you've been changing too many things. Another thing that I like to do was 10 up to 35 with a step of 1, and go even more granular with it. Again, just decide what works for you and stick to it over a long period of time. For the sake of the video, 10, 50, 5, 50 with a step of 5. Okay. We're not using the news filter with the single trade approach. I found that adding a news filter in just doesn't generate enough trade volume. Okay, so I like to keep the news filter off. And then we come down to setting the max running loss and the daily profit target. Now, for the sake of this video, my max running loss is set to 1,000. I don't really change that, to be honest. The daily profit target is set to 1,000. The reason for doing that is because I found it much easier to find good results that way. Once you can find good results using a daily profit target of 1,000 per set file, then you might want to optimize this, and you could go 1,000 up to 5,000 with a step of 1,000. So that will check daily profit target of 1k, 2k, 3k, 4k, 5k. If I go 1,000 up to 3,000, it's only going to check 1k, 2k, 3k. You know, I might just want to make sure that my optimization is only checking a daily profit of 2,000. Okay, you could take this even higher and look for higher RR approaches up to, let's say, 10k. Okay, so we're going to test 1k up to 10k. That would require a lot more patience. It's a lot more difficult to find consistency with those approaches, but they do work. And there are a lot of people in the POW group that are smashing it with higher RR approaches. And it's just because they've been testing things over a long period of time and found what works for them. But for the sake of this video, once again, I'm going to leave that to 1,000 because it's easier to find good results. Every tick, and restart the next day. So if I hit my max running loss of 1k, it will not start until the following day. Okay, really important if you're running multiple set files at once. If you've got 4 set files all running 1k, then if they all hit stop loss, you're down 4k for the day. Okay, if you're running 6 set files and they're all have a max running loss of 1k and they all hit stop loss, you're down 6k for the day. If your prop firm has a 5k max daily loss, you're going to blow that max daily loss. Okay, so you need to factor this into your risk management. You need to kind of understand what you're running this on, whether that be a prop firm or, you know, live capital, and then decide, does this fit in with the prop firm rules or my own rules for trading my own live capital? I like to run 2 to 4 set files per account. I don't really go above that. When I have gone above that, it tends to not work well for me. Maybe that's just psychologically, but I don't like to run the risk of hitting multiple stop losses in a day, and being down, you know, 6k in a day. Yes, you could bank 6k in a day. They could all hit take profit and you'll live happily ever after. And that does happen, but you've got to understand the downsides as well, as with any trading strategy. No need to figure out, play with the inverse trading stuff just yet anyway. And then when we come down to the optimization, this will drive the optimization that we use in Portfolio Builder. So minimum trade set to 4. The reason why I've set it to 4 is because I don't want anything below that, because it's just not worth running. I'm using a short backtesting period, anywhere between 6 and 12 weeks long. Okay, so I don't want to see anything below 4 trade volume. Max trades 50. I found that I don't really find anything higher than 50 using this particular approach, so there's no point testing it. Max average trade duration, I usually leave that to 168. Max duration for each individual trade is set to 24 hours. Okay, they're just things that I leave on, you know, the same on every optimization file that I generate for a single trade. Once again, you don't have to do that. That's just something that I do. So there we go. That is the trend trading strategy, using the max running loss of 1k, daily profit target of 1k, trading the single trade approach. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.